here we are. Trying to knock out that checklist here. What checklist am I talking about? Turn the smoothing up. So I am working on a background. Let me do this at 4 for an upcoming short. So I need to. This is a background sketch from my animatic that I made a while ago, so I'm going to draw this out and probably won't finish drawing this tonight, but I'm trying to do a clean line version of this. So I wanted to build this whole set in Blender, but I don't have time to learn what I need to learn. So I'm just gonna do it the old way. Just a painted background. And then we'll worry about evolving the interior of the Smuggle Brothers spaceship if this goes to series. So just for this short, we're gonna do it the way I did for the Jesus 2 8-minute short, which was just to do a 2-dimensional painting. And nothing wrong with that. The reason why I wanted to do it in Blender was so that I'm going to keep returning to this location with so much information. It's hard to track. It's hard to track if people are moving in space, like traveling through the garden, what happens when they turn the camera around, all this kind of stuff. If they're going to be hanging out in this location a lot, it's going to be so difficult to have to track everything. So if I actually have a 3D model of it, it would make my life way easier for this location, but I want to do it right if I'm going to do it. And that'll take some research and development, you know? Anyway, I gotta open my windows, it's hot here. It's open. So I'm just gonna draw this foreground here, and then this will be the middle ground in here, and then we'll have the background, obviously. But I'll put them all in separate layers so that I can change the landscape eventually. Hey, Brother Rabbit, what's up? What's up, Pressure Matt? I have someone I made a list today. I made a checklist of all the things I need to do in the next, like, 3 months. And one of the things is having a couple of these backgrounds laid out so that I can... There's someone who wants to try doing some background painting for me, so I need to get these drawings done so they have something to test on. I was planning on doing it all myself, but it probably would be good to have a little bit of help to get this done faster, theoretically. Maybe. Hey, Ninetails, what's up? Stoned and drawing? I'm not stoned, but I am drawing. But I am hungry because I'm trying to eat less food right now. Trying to drop some lbs. So I might get a big jug of water and just chug some water. Luckily, I kind of already know what this environment looks like rather than workshopping. You know, when I first designed this environment, it took me like, I don't know, 2 years off and on workshopping what this environment was going to look like. So now I have a style for it, so it should go faster than when I was working on Jesus 2 back in the day, 3 years ago. What's up, Dougie? I almost said David for some reason. Davy Jones from the Monkees. Audio is a bit quiet. Okay, hold on a second. Let me turn down the How's that? Is that better? Sorry, I had the music kind of blasting. I like Thundercat. I have him on my rotating playlist. Do I have any recommendations for comics I should pick up next? Congrats on the release of Forming, by the way. Nothing super recent. I'm always a fan of Sammy Harkham's comics. I like Nick Edwards comics. I like the guy who, what's his name? Joe. The guy who does Dungeon Quest comics. Joe. I'm blanking on his name right now. Dungeon Quest 1, 2, and 3. Trying to make all these squids even and not pinchy. These, whatever you would call them, sea cucumbers. Yeah, what's his last name? Joe something. Blanking. Nice booger. Booger emoji. Roll that booger. Good, I'm just trying to... I made a list of to-do things because all of a sudden my life got real. And, I actually have, like... things I need to deliver soon-ish, so I gotta get these done. This, like, short... these animated shorts. One of which, this one that I'm working on right now, I haven't done any of the backgrounds for yet, so I gotta bang out these backgrounds. So I'm trying to bang out these backgrounds. I don't know how fast I can do it. Probably the fastest I'll be able to do this is probably 3 days, probably, I'm gonna say. That's like... We'll see. Oh, nice. Thanks, okay, Titus. Glad you got to see it. In case people don't know, I released a short on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram today on A Studio Digital's platform. One of 2 shorts I made for them. So I think the next one, this one's like the low-key, depressing bedroom one, and then the next one is more like colorful outdoors. Dick joke. So we'll see if people respond to it. So I'm going to draw all the way up to probably around here as the foreground. Thanks, OK Titus. I'm going to change the writing for this short that I made an animatic for. I'm going to change the writing a little bit, and I'm going to change the ending. Because originally I made this animatic probably over 3 years ago. That I'm resurrecting this like little short starring Sunday and Monday from Jesus 2. Back when I was still figuring out what these characters were. I feel like I'm still figuring them out, like what the limits of their personalities are. I'm still figuring out. But I think sometimes you can only find that through experimenting with a character. And I don't think you can figure it out in an outline. I think you have to figure it out by writing it and then seeing if it plays true or not. And if it doesn't play true, then you scrap it. If it does play true, then you discovered something, you know, about them. Before or after recording the animatic? It used to be you would discover it while pitching a storyboard to a group of people, but since I haven't been in a pitch room in so many years at this point, I've done a little bit of online pitching, but I would say I would discover it in doing a rough animatic. Because I'm kind of skipping a bunch of steps at this point. I do the storyboard, then I sort of act it out myself, and I listen to myself, and then I watch my drawings move, and I decide whether or not it feels right or not. That's sort of my process these days. J2 is made. He spat out something. He looked like he got blown out of a big nose. What was the apparatus of his false resurrection? Oh, I see what you're saying. Hey, Yam CK29, what's up? He looks like he got blown out of a big nose. No, I can't give away what happened. How Jesus 2 came to be. I think I did write it down in a lore page a couple years ago on the Discord, but I think that page disappeared. And also, like, I'm not, I have an idea of what it is, but I haven't, like, fully committed to it, since it's not, until it appears on screen, it's not canon. But I think it does have something to do with this other character named Doc Green. Doc Green is going to appear in this short that I'm working on right now, actually. So I'm drawing this, I'm doing all the line work with just the most basic brush, because the line work is going to all disappear eventually. So I don't need to use any sort of fancy textured brush, because it's all going to be straight color. And the flatter the brush I use, the easier it is going to be for me to select shapes and stuff without dealing with weird texture stuff. Just give me a flat round brush here. But I'm drawing on top of if you can look at this is an analog underpainting texture that I did with airbrush, as a sort of like a way for me to get my imagination going and use the underpainting to come through. So now you can see in the storyboard, I got a little bit lazy with my shapes here. So now it starts to get, I have to interpret my intention here. So, I'm going to most of this stuff will be middle ground, but I'm gonna just come up like this. Let's see, we'll do some grass here. Tall grass. Yeah, they wanted me to do these shorts as like sort of the same quality I was doing the shorts on my YouTube channel, but if this is going to be like a style guide for the series, I want it to look as close to the series as I can get while doing it by myself, without a team. So I'm gonna have to put a little bit more effort into it than I did with my YouTube shorts. Oops. Alright, I don't want to do that. So what we'll do is, because there's little ponds of blood here, I'm going to end the foreground here. Hey Bafana, what's up? What's up, Alex? How's it going? I'm just working on my background for an upcoming short for Animation Plus. Okay, so let's see. I'll do this flower here and these tall leaves, and that'll be the foreground. Edge here. And you know what? I'm gonna have to break up the background. We're gonna have to break up the underpainting so that it attaches to each layer of foreground, middle ground, background. I forget I have to do that. It's not a big deal though. Okay. Thanks, Alex. Okay, so that is the foreground. So as you can see, as it goes further and further back in the storyboard, I stopped, you know, paying so much attention. Obviously, because the storyboard is just meant to indicate. But then there's going to be a big hole blown up in the wall here. So I have to draw it so that I can have that hole in the wall. But anyway, all right. So let's mask out oops, let's mask out the area that I've already drawn. So I don't get confused about what I'm doing. And also this helps give me a sense of accomplishment here. Like, oh, it's all clean. It's nice. Mask out layers that I've cleaned up. Okay, now I gotta think about this because I actually think that I'm gonna raise the foreground up to here because there's gonna be this big boulder that lands right here, and I want this to sit in front of that. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, I'm gonna draw a little bit more foreground here. A little bit lower profile here. Not going quite as high as the original. Saw the announcement regarding the funding for Jesus 2. When you said it's tight, did you mean it's tight in cost or tight as in good? It's tight in terms of cost. My budget is very, very small for this. It's so small that I'm basically not paying myself to do it. But that's okay because it's me getting the opportunity to bring more of this world to life, which is really what I care about. As long as I'm able to eat food and pay my rent, you know? So I've got a commercial gig coming up next week that's basically going to cover my rent while I work on this at the same time. Okay. I think let's do this. So excited to read the upcoming forming release. What was it like working with Fantagraphics? They seem like cool people. So Fantagraphics is like a really, really small team. The main guy that I work with is this guy named Eric Reynolds, who's the main sort of like curator and editor, it seems like. And Eric, I've known for many years, and he's such a cool, chill dude, and it was pretty much easy peasy, you know, putting this book together. So I did have some I woke up this morning kind of paranoid about it, but so I might send him an email this week about making sure the pages feel lined up correctly, but that's about all I'm worried about. Did I hear about their shipping of books getting hit with a missile? Is that real? Are you trolling me, or I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. Mad respect for them as they publish the complete Crazy Cat immaculate presentation. Yeah. Yeah, they do great reprints of classic comics. All right, I'm going to save this as this is going to be short 2 garden master shop, master wide, I guess I'll call it. I don't know if you're joking or not. Holy fuck. Let me look this up real quick. Fantagraphics books hit by missile? A cargo ship carrying the full print runs of 2 forthcoming comics for Fantagraphic Books was hit by an Iranian missile in the Strait of Hormuz. One was Adventures into Weird Worlds, reprint of old horror comic, sci-fi horror comic, and The Exasperating Existence of Midge McCracken, Bitchy, by Roberta Gregory. I remember Bitchy back in the 90s. The fucking, what do you call it? The side casualties of warfare. Damn. That stinks. Well, at least it was only 2 books. I was thinking it was like a whole batch of, I don't know. I don't know what my imagination was thinking, but that sucks for that author. I forget her name. The author of Bitchy. But I guess they'll just reprint it. All right. So then we'll go middle ground. Clean this up real quick. That's crazy, man. The world's on fire. Yeah, I remember seeing her books on shelves in the 90s. But I never read Bitchy. I don't know much about it. I was too busy reading Spawn in the 90s and X Factor. Alright, let's make this a slightly different color. Let's make this green, so I know it's the middle ground here. No, make it a darker green. Just as a placeholder, so I know where I'm at. And I made it a slightly thinner line quality, 0.3 instead of 0.4, so that I can get into finer detail as I get deeper into this background. I'll probably keep it at 3 for the rest of the background though, because 2 starts to the line starts to break up too much. What did I do? There we go. How many detailed backgrounds do I have to make for this short? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Smuggle Brothers. So I'm gonna cut out the top because right now this is 2 minutes long. So I'm gonna cut out this shot. I'm gonna cut out this shot. I'm gonna cut out this shot. Cut out. So what? So we got 1. This is a punch in on the master shot, so I'll probably have to redraw it because the line will get too thick, but so I'm gonna say 2, 3, 4, yeah, we just can't count that as 4. Let me see where that lands. Okay, I'm good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Fuck me. That I really gave up on my storyboarding. 13, let's see. 13. This is a punch in. 14. 15. Probably about 16. 16 backgrounds. FML. Have you ever listened to any lectures by Terence McKenna? Alternatively, are there any public figures whose perspective have had an influence on you? I've never listened to Terence McKenna. I've heard bits and pieces of Terence McKenna over the years. But Terence McKenna to me is like a hippie guru drug warrior, right? Am I wrong about that? I'm not into it. It kind of spins me out. I kind of stay away from too much like psychedelic, like drug warrior kind of stuff. Because I already feel like I'm on the edge of like a psychedelic kundalini break. I'm like constantly having to reground myself from fucking losing my brains. So my life is a constant tension of like staying sane. So that stuff doesn't help me very much. I like Joseph Campbell. That's more my guy. Joseph Campbell. Carl Jung. Manly P. Hall. Maybe a little bit of Rudolf Steiner. Just like ambiently. I've listened to a bunch of Rudolf Steiner lectures. I don't know how much I got from it, but ambiently I got something from it. I would say those are the main ones. I've like investigated a bunch of different sort of like public figure thought people, especially in the mystical sort of circles, mythological, mystical, occult circles, and the ones that really stood out to me, who didn't feel like sort of charlatan kind of people, felt more, I don't know, genuine, like good people. Feels like Joseph Campbell. Manly P. Hall. Manly was named after Manly P. Hall, yep. And Rudolf Steiner, you know. And then you know, I've like messed around. I've read a bunch of other people, but like, what's his name? Kircher, Althenius Kircher, Eliphas Levi, Aleister Crowley, Paul Foster Case, you know, Arthur Edward Waite, Jodorowsky. I like Jodorowsky. I love his movies. I like his comics. I would say like everything, you know, I don't like follow. I was talking to my friend about this. Like, I don't like. I don't really like. I'm too contrarian to like be. I'm not on the lookout for a guru. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't seek out. I'm not seeking out gurus. I don't trust gurus. And I don't have a desire to follow or find a guru. So I'll kind of like take is tidbit, you know, like little snippets of information from people that I think might be useful, and then I kind of move on from there to other areas of interest. That's sort of my strategy of life. So I'm like, oh, this bit of information or thought or, you know, philosophical outlook is useful for me, and so I'll take that bit and I'll leave the rest. Basically, sort of, let's say Ronin style. Uh, Ever read Chuck Palahniuk or whatever? I know that name. I don't know. I don't know anything about them. Why? Do you recommend it? Oh, Fight Club dude. No, I never read any of his books. Yeah, I don't really know what the point is of being on one team. Like some group of people think they figured it out, and there's too many other people that sort of have a different point of view for me to you know, I don't think there is anyone. I think people kind of figure out their path that works for them and makes them feel the most like comfortable with their life or something, or most at peace with their life, or it helps them manage things, and you know, different things work for different people. But at some point, if you wholesale accept a whole belief system, there's going to be things you have to accept that probably don't, if you really think about it, don't actually work for you. And you know that you know it's like fucked when you talk to those people, and it's like really they feel like whatever vibe they got into changed their lives, but you can tell, you can see like the glaze in the eyes or whatever, the 1,000-yard stare, that they're like blindly accepting certain aspects of their belief system, that or they're willing to turn a blind eye to some of that stuff that probably if they were more critically thinking they would be down with. So I just prefer to live a ever wandering non-committal I don't know if that's a problem or not, but I just can't commit to any like one idea. Until I have like a master, if I have a master revelation, like fucking the walls open up and the, you know, the face of God fucking confronts me and tells me what's happening, and that what the deal is and how I should be thinking, then I'll know what's going on. But I don't think any of us really will know. All we know is like we figure out strategies for managing existence, you know, and some people find it in different ways based on how they're like childhood programming, you know. You grew up in the Doomsday cult? Do I ever wish I was born in a different era? Yeah, sometimes I kind of wish I was a boomer, actually. I wish I grew up in Canterbury, England, and I wish I was a teenager in Canterbury, England in 1972. That's what I would like, if I could go back in time. And go see Gentle Giant over and over again. Just like follow Gentle Giant on tour. You were Jehovah's Witness? They were obsessed with the end of the world. Well, my parents were, what do you call it? Pentecostal. When I was a kid, when I was like young. They met at a Pentecostal church. So by the time I was old enough to like know what was going on, my parents had kind of drifted out of that. But there were little things. You know, when I was young, my parents had me reading children's books that were based on like Pentecostal beliefs and stuff like that. So some of that stuff, like end of days kind of stuff. Lots of Satan stuff, sphere of Satan stuff, you know. Some speaking in tongues kind of stuff. Which I'm like, you know, not so much the devil stuff, but the like speaking in tongue stuff I'm like down with. I don't do it myself, but I'm interested in it. Yeah, my parents weren't like juggling snakes or anything, but they were. Yeah, I went to one. They like went back to visit their old church when I was probably 11 or 12, and it was a lot of like that, like church, you know, righteous gemstones kind of thing, like but low budget, not rich style. Sort of like hippie righteous gemstones. There's like a band and stuff like that, and lots of music and praying, and like people with their hands up in the air and that kind of stuff, and then people start going full on like speaking in tongues kind of stuff. And when I was 11, that shit freaked me out. But it stayed with me as a memory, and my memory now of that is like very like, it's not freaked out. It was more like, that's really interesting. I guess you could say. And it sort of connects to how I feel about, or the way I'd like to think about like collective unconscious and stuff like that, and like shared memories and sort of like psychic bonds between humans, and what you can tap into if you sort of like let go of your self-conscious sort of like learned behaviors. So to me, even though like I think on some level that stuff, sometimes it's like people faking it, but I think sometimes it can be real. there's like a performative aspect to it, but then also I think there's like a legitimate aspect to it. So this middle ground is going to go probably up till about here until these hills start appearing. I went to one where people would shake on the floor after the priest would put his hand on their forehead. Oh yeah, that's a like faith healing kind of stuff. Did I get anything good out of it? Yeah, I think so, because my parents were like... My parents were really into like faith healing stuff, and man, there was a lot of that in my house, and there still kind of is. Like my parents do like a different version of that these days, like a different version of faith healing kind of stuff, and I think there is something to be said for living your life with that as a part of your toolbox and believing in it. And I think that there are benefits that come from that can come from that sort of like style of thinking and perception, worldview, that I think actually can benefit your life if you decide to like use and believe in those sorts of tools. I'm not saying it's gonna fix every situation, but it's sort of like a general direction that you could point yourself towards, as long as it's not combined with all the like sort of... I think there's a bunch of negativity and also like failure mindset that also comes with that world. Like, yeah, sort of like a victim mindset as well. And I think it does, that world sort of does attract a lot of like mentally ill people as well, but so nothing is like a, you know, there's always a trade-off, I guess you could say. But I took away from that world, my upbringing in that world, I took some positive things from it, and I try to have respect for aspects of the world, that world that I kind of like cursorily sort of like grew up around. What do I think of psychics? I think that there's a lot of fraud psychics, and then I think that there are legitimately real psychics. And I think that sometimes there are both, like psychics who are frauds and also real at the same time. But I will say, for example, I worked at a health food store in Philadelphia, and the owner of the health food store was a psychic, and he didn't advertise it. And after I worked there for like 2 years, he talked to me about it, and I totally believe him. He was a very special guy. he could basically like touch people's hands and see things that had happened to them in the past. So he didn't really do it that often, and he could like turn it off too. And after a while, he kind of stopped because what he told me was he met a dude and shook his hand, and he saw the guy had killed someone, and he didn't want to see into. He felt like it wasn't his place to like see into people's past without their permission, you know, basically. So he just kind of like stopped trying to do that. Sylvia Brown, yeah. So she's the big like TV psychic, right? I don't know if she's real, but it could be. I've heard someone talking about Sylvia Brown. Like, that's the thing. Like, she might be a combo of both a grifter and a psychic at the same time. Where it's like, maybe she developed a reputation by having psychic abilities and set parameters, and then when you're forced to perform on TV, then you have to just basically turn it into a magic show. I think he could just turn it off. He could just like try not to be sensitive to it, basically. He did it to me once. He basically like he like held my shoulder for a while and then like started telling me things about my past. And this was so long ago, but yeah. He did the same thing to my friend Sharif. And he described to Sharif a moment in his childhood that he had never told anyone, where he was in the middle of a field and he was sitting on a large rock and writing a letter to his mom. So he would just see images. He wouldn't see, like, sometimes it wouldn't be like important things. He would just see things from the person's past, memories. I don't remember what he said to me. I can't remember. I just remember it really like freaked my friend Sharif out. Alright, I'm gonna go get a cup of water really quick because I'm really parched. I'll be right back. Okay. So this is gonna be a little tricky because I gotta... So many psychics in Toronto. I live next to one. I'm thinking of going to her for a reading. I've been walking by her business since I was a child. I went to a psychic not too long ago, maybe like six months ago or something like that. There's a psychic, Santeria psychic guy in Echo Park I went to. And the vibes in there were crazy. And he did a whole tarot reading from me, psychic tarot reading, where he read the whole entire tarot deck, and applied every card somehow to my life. But those guys, those style psychics are like obsessed. They're like sort of obsessed with black magic and stuff, like curses and stuff. And it was really cool experience to like, I mean, cultural experience to like, this guy was in a zone, you know. He had people waiting there all day long to get readings from him, and also get like curses lifted off them and stuff like that. And he definitely was not a white magic type guy. Like, he was not a he was leaning more towards the Saruman vibes. But it was cool, and he was a very unique, interesting person. But yeah, I didn't go back there after that. The whole minor and major arcana he did for me. Like, how do you know he didn't put a backdoor curse when he lifts the other curses? I mean, that's a possibility. Yeah. He definitely was like, he's like a doctor. He like gave me a prescription. He's like, you've got bad energy surrounding you. I need to do this and this. These rituals for you, blah, blah, blah. Curse lifting for you, bad energy that's like following you around, blah, blah, blah. And, but like it added up to a lot of money, and I just couldn't. I was like, I can't pay for this. Just give me the tarot reading. Oh, thanks. So I need to be able to set this background up so I can have two versions of it. One where this like big hole explodes in the side, and also one where this like meteor lands here and it creates a crater. So I'll have to create a crater area. So I might have to do... What am I gonna do? I'm gonna draw a little bit like here in front of the amp, and then here, And I'll just create a... So this will be middle ground, but it'll be like in front of the crater, basically. I think is how I'll handle this. And actually what I should do is I should import the JPEG with the crater in it so that I know exactly where it lands. So I'm not guessing about where to draw this thing, so I should open up. Let's see, I'll open up my Storyboard Pro. Is there going to be a trench in the soil where the meteor dragged, or a circular crater? It's gonna, I'll show you. It's gonna... Okay, so you see the hole burst through here, and then it's sort of like a basketball falls from the top. Boom. And then his body goes flying here. So I'll find the cleanest. Yeah, that's probably the cleanest drawing. So it's... Okay, it doesn't totally smash. Monday, like, blows him back. Okay, so export bitmap. And then we'll call this current panel export. Okay. So I'll drop this into the scene here. So this will be reference 2. Ref 2. All these New Age guys like the blues. Kind of bothers me sometimes. Let's see. Okay, so it's going to land there, so actually can draw probably up into there-ish. Okay. Who does your sound design? Where do you even get your sound effects from? I've been collecting sound effects for a bunch of years now, off of YouTube and off of freesound.org. And occasionally I meet people who give me their sound libraries. So I've just been creeping on sound effects for like 5 or 6 years now. I've got a bit of a collection at this point. But you can get tons of free fair use sound effects off of YouTube. Pretty much any sound effect you want, you can get off YouTube. Or freesound.org. Freesound.org is definitely more amateurish, but you can find some good stuff on there. Okay. So around this amplifier and the roads, I'm gonna have to... I'll probably have to draw the roads in as a prop. So that I know how to layer this scene correctly. Oops. Sorry, I get really bothered by blue scales. Not always, but it's like such a Guitar Center fucking move. Was Kirby's New God Saga an inspiration for Manly? I would say probably not, but I do like Kirby's New Gods. And mostly for his drawings, you know. I liked Kirby's concepts, and yeah, I liked his concepts. I never liked his writing so much, but his ideas and his drawings are top notch. Top notch. It's too much New Age blues. I'm looking at Blake's stuff, but I feel like I can't read it. Have you read him? Yeah, I've read Blake. I've got a Blake art book right by my feet right now, actually. When I was in elementary school, we had to memorize Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright. It's been a while since I've read Blake's poetry, but I've always enjoyed it when I've heard it, probably more than anyone else's poetry. So maybe Clark Ashton Smith I also like, but it's been a while. It's been a long time also since I read any Clark Ashton Smith. So I'd have to refamiliarize myself. Let's look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at some William Blake. This is just his art prints. Here's some poetry. Let's see. Sorry, I'm flipping through my William Blake art book. Now I've got a William Blake poetry book around the corner here. Let me get it real quick. Okay. I've got my complete poetry and prose of William Blake here. Let's flip to a random page. Let's see. I don't know if this is part of a larger poem. Okay, this is called Merlin's Prophecy. Seems like promising. Merlin's Prophecy. The harvest shall flourish in wintry weather, when two virginities meet together. The king and the priest must be tied in a tether, before two virgins can meet together. Why should I care for the men of Thames? Thames? Or the cheating waves of chartered streams? Or shrink at the little blasts of fear that the hireling blows into my ear, though born on the cheating banks of Thames, I guess people say. Though his waters bathe my infant's limbs, the Ohio shall wash his stains from me. I was born a slave, but I go to be free. That's a pretty good one. This one caught my eye. The Ferry. Let's see. Is this part of a larger poem? Let me check. Songs and Ballads. Written in a copy of Poetical Sketches. I guess it's just a bunch of poetical sketches. I'll start on the... this one says, this one goes from an ancient proverb to a poem called The Ferry. An ancient proverb. Remove away that blackening church. Remove away that marriage hearse. Remove away that of blood. You'll quite remove the ancient curse. The Ferry. Come hither, my sparrows, my little arrows. If a tear or a smile will a man beguile, if an amorous delay clouds a sunshiny day, if the step of a foot smites the heart to its root, 'tis the marriage ring makes each fairy a king. So a fairy sung from the leaves I sprung. He leaped from the spray to flee away, but in my hat caught, he soon shall be taught. Let him laugh, let him cry, he's my butterfly, for I've pulled out the sting of the marriage ring. Damn. Let's see if we'll just flip around and see. Okay, this one sounds good. The Crystal Cabinet. The Crystal Cabinet. The maiden caught me in the wild, where I was dancing merrily. She put me into her cabinet, and locked me up with a golden key. This cabinet is formed of gold, and pearl and crystal shining bright, and within it opens into a world, and a little lovely moony night. Another England where I saw, another London with its tower, another Thames, and other hills, and another pleasant Surrey bower. Another maiden like herself, translucent, lovely, shining clear, threefold each in the other closed. Oh, what a pleasant trembling fear! Oh, what a smile, a threefold smile, filled me that like a flame I burned. I bent to kiss the lovely maid, and found a threefold kiss returned. I strove to seize the inmost form, with ardor fierce and hands aflame. But burst the crystal cabinet, and like a weeping babe became, a weeping babe upon the wild, and weeping woman pale reclined. And in the outward air again, I filled the woes, the passing wind. Damn. That also made me say damn. Let's see. Do one more. Let's see, that's all annotations. Let's go. These are like dense, these ones. I'm just reading from his, like, he's just like probably wrote some ideas down before he fell asleep. Just like, I got a poem idea. I'm gonna put in the crystal cabinet. And the shit goes off. Oh, what's this one? All right, let's see how long this one is. It's not too long. All right, see what you guys think of this one. This one's called America, a Prophecy, written in 1793. Preludium. Preludium. The shadowy daughter of Urthona stood before the red orc, when 14 suns had faintly journeyed over his dark abode. His food she brought in iron baskets, his drink in cups of iron. Crowned with a helmet and dark hair, the nameless female stood, a quiver with its burning stores, a bow like that of night. When pestilence is shot from heaven, no other arms she need. Invulnerable though, naked, save where clouds roll round her loins. Their awful folds in the dark air, silent she stood as night. For never from her iron tongue could voice or sound arise, but dumb till that dread day when the orc essayed his fierce embrace. Dark virgin, said the hairy youth, thy father, stern, abhorred, rivets my tenfold chains, while still on high my spirit soars. Sometimes an eagle screaming in the sky, sometimes a lion stalking upon the mountains, and sometimes a whale I lash. The raging fathomless abyss, anon a serpent folding. Around the pillars of Urthona, and round thy dark limbs, on the Canadian wilds I fold, feeble my spirit folds. For chained beneath I rend these caverns, when thou bringest food. I howl my joy, and my red eyes seek to behold thy face. In vain these clouds roll to and fro, and hide thee from my sight. Silent as despairing love, and strong as jealousy, the hairy shoulders rend the links, free are the wrists of fire. Round the terrific loins he seized the paining, struggling womb. It joyed, she put aside her clouds, and smiled her firstborn smile, as when a black cloud shews its lightnings to the silent deep. Soon as she saw the terrible boy, then burst the virgin cry. I know thee, I have found thee, and I will not let thee go. Thou art the image of God who dwells in the darkness, and thou art fallen to give me life in regions of dark death. On my American plains I feel the struggling afflictions, endured by roots that writhe their arms into the nether deep. I see a serpent in Canada who courts me to his love. In Mexico an eagle, and a lion in Peru. I see a whale in the South Sea, drinking my soul away. Oh, what limb-rending pains I feel, thy fire and my frost mingle in howling pains, in furrows by thy lightning's rent. This is eternal death, and this is the torment long foretold. What the hell? I don't know. That's his thoughts on America, I guess. Canada mentioned. Anyway. That's some William Blake for you. I would say America is a rough place, and born from roughness, right? That's probably you would say. Yeah, this country's been hard on people for a long time. But probably could say that about pretty much every country. I don't know what country isn't hard on people, really, or doesn't have a history of it. If you can think of one, let me know, because I'll move there. Oh, I don't know. Do I have one place in mind? No, I don't. I've had like little, you know, fantasies of moving to different countries, but nothing that's really. I even, you know, I considered like you know, because I have family who live in Japan, and I visited Japan recently, thinking, oh, maybe I could move to Japan. And I really did not get along with Japan on this last trip. Like, not in any sort of like mean way. I just felt like I was like, this place is cool to visit, but it is not a place I could consider home. And I've thought about Portugal, but I've never even visited Portugal, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. I've thought about, you know, I want to visit Italy and see if that's a place I could maybe move to. I like France, to be honest. I lived in France for like 3 months, and I really felt comfortable there, even though I don't speak French. And there's a whole thing about how you get treated as a person who has like crappy French, you know, in France, and there's like a whole stigma kind of thing. I could not deal with Canadian weather. I gotta be honest. Like, I can visit Canada in the spring. And that's about it. Spring and fall. Although I heard Vancouver is like pretty mild, right? Overall, it's like not too bad. But yeah, really expensive is what I hear, right? Isn't Vancouver one of the most expensive cities you can live in? Do they hate it? How come they hate Vancouver? I've never been there. I just know there's like a bit of an animation scene there. Oh, you live there now? It's really expensive. Yeah, I've always heard how expensive Vancouver is. Why do you think the prices are so driven up? Because it's not a super big city, is it? Is it big, or is it highly big population, or? Um, Weather, and it's crazy expensive. Okay. I don't know what's going on in Australia. Australia seems like a nightmare right now. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting bad news all the time about like what's going on with Australia's sort of free speech laws and shit. And seems like something's going on over there that's not that I'm not out in the streets like fucking protest style, but I don't I don't want to move to another country that's like trying to lock down speech. Italy seems cool, like the vibes. You know, I heard it's like the government there is like pretty like, you know, you're gonna have to wait in long lines to get a driver's license and shit in Italy, is what I hear. It's like the bureaucracy and red tape is crazy. But 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 overall, I hear the vibes are good. But I've never been to Italy, so I don't know. Maybe I'll try going. I was thinking about trying to visit Greece in the next couple months. Go on a trip to Greece and maybe go to Italy. Maybe go with my brother and my friend Alex. We're talking about taking a vacay. But I'm probably America locked for the next at least the next 5 or 6 months until I'm done these shorts. All right, let's see where this meteor or this thing crashes here. Okay, so I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna draw a layer and I'm gonna call it crash site. So that I can do like 2 versions of it. I've never been to Southeast Asia anywhere either, and I don't know. There's so many countries I've never been to. I don't know. I also like hate traveling. That's another big problem for me. So, crash site. I'll do it if there's like a major thing I gotta go do, like, you know, like a film festival or a book tour kind of thing. But no, I'm not super into travel. It's like, it's kind of like being like put through hell, put through like purgatory. It's plain purgatory. Did I do storyboards with Nick Edwards? Yeah, Argentina. I've been to Argentina years ago. So I don't know what it's like now. I was probably in Argentina maybe 17 years ago. I didn't have a great impression of Argentina when I was there. But maybe it's different now. I'm friends with some people in Colombia, and you always hear how dangerous Colombia is, but I've heard really, really good things about Colombia as well. So that's a place I would consider at least like going to go check out. My friend Jono he lived in Colombia for like 6 months and he loved it. Did you do storyboards recently with Nick Edwards? I did. I think I did 3 storyboards for Adventure Time SideQuest with Nick Edwards. Lots of Germans in Argentina. That's the word on the street. You do okay in Colombia. Are you in Colombia? Are you living in Colombia? All right, I'm gonna draw this. Let's see. I've never been to Colombia, no. But I heard that the people there are super cool and nice. Is what I'm good vibes is what I hear. And all the people I know in Colombia that I've met have been super cool. except for like a year in Argentina. Oh, okay, cool. Then you would know best. What part of Colombia do you live in? Bogota. Okay. Why is that? Why is that LOL? I don't know much about the region, so. Oh, okay. Cocaine hippos in Colombia? I don't know. I don't know about that story. Do you know about cocaine hippos, Kanzit? Oh, did they like do a bunch of cocaine and go crazy and like rampage or something? Well, Narcos brought hippos, okay. Narcos got their shit confiscated or just lost hippos, and now there's just hippos in Colombia. Okay. Well, baby hippos are cute. That's for sure. I've never seen. Have I seen a hippo? Maybe I've seen a hippo at a zoo, but I've never seen a hippo like up close. I would imagine if I ran into a hippo in the wild, I'd be scared as fuck. No one got killed or anything. I just heard some famous story about a guy getting swallowed by a hippo and then fighting his way out. Apparently, I don't know, on some safari. I don't know where that was though. I don't know where he was. Do I prefer living in cities? Yes. I can't. I was talking to friends about this the other day. I was like, I can't tell if it's because I'm just so used to it. But whenever I'm living in like sort of a countryside area, I start to really lose my mind. I get really like tired all the time. I just start to feel just like lethargic and like lazy. I need the energy of people around me to inspire me to keep sort of like active. I really feed off of other people's like presence, I guess. So if I'm in a low population area, I just like get really bored. And if I live in a place that's too spread out, I get really bored. Like, you know, like sprawling suburb kind of places, I get bored. All right, take it easy, brother rabbit. I need a dense city to keep my momentum up, I think. Just to be around people that I know are doing interesting things, I like sort of but I can't tell if that's sort of like riding an adrenaline, yeah, like a constant adrenaline high, basically. Yeah. That's our California laziness. I like being chill. Well, so California is more chill. California is more chill than New York, you know, or Philadelphia. Like, I grew up in Philadelphia. And LA is so much more laid back. But it's still a bustling, you know, there's an energy here and a density that's like just enough for me to be kind of like chill LA guy, but also still in an exciting sort of city space. If that makes sense. All right, so that's the crash site area, and so I'm gonna build another layer around that. So this is going to be called I'm going to call this back middle ground. LA was fun, yeah. I think LA is a great city. It has its ugliness, but oh shit, I shouldn't erase that part. It has its ugliness, but I really I've grown to really love living in LA. It's just the only real problem with LA is it's expensive. It's hard to afford living here. If you visit California, well, California's a big place. If you like nature, you should visit Big Sur. Go camping there if you can. LA is like I never visited LA before I moved here. I just moved here without knowing anything about Los Angeles. And on first impression, I don't think LA is a great city. It feels like a sprawling wasteland a little bit. You have to kind of know the spots. That's my... Like, I feel like it's easier to visit a place like San Francisco. You like the tar pits? The tar pits are okay. I mean, there's lots of good museums in LA. I really like the Museum of Jurassic Technology. LACMA is cool, the Getty's cool. The Philosophical Research Society is cool. Alright, we're going to do back middle ground, and we're going to do that in blue. We're at 11:23. I like horses. I ride horses once in a blue moon. I've ridden horses maybe 3 or 4 times in my life, I guess. Alright, so we're gonna go blue. Stay away from stallions? I don't know. I don't know anything about horse culture or horse behavior. Right, this is where I start to get a little bit vague about my shapes in the storyboard here. So I can't just tune my brain out. Let's see. Sort of onion shapes, maybe. And then I haven't done any of my like tilled ground shapes. So we'll do some tilled ground here. And I'm just drawing through that layer so that in case what I might do if I build this out in Blender, I'll post each layer as a separate object so I can do some like parallaxing kind of stuff. Which will be nice, fancy. Nice and fancy. Nice old mare, huh? So I'll probably draw this middle ground background all the way to this layer here-ish. Ring of Death. Make sure I save my work. Bit more spatial shapes here. Get up on the hill here. Get that to the top. Oh boy. Yeah, Big Sur is ocean to mountains. Ocean, mountains, lots of redwoods. It's really scenic, but it's a little bit, I don't know. It's a little steep, so, and there's a lot of like private property and stuff, but it's cool. I've gone camping there. I've gone camping in the redwoods there in Big Sur. Well, I think I'm running out of steam. I had a long day today. So I'm going to save my work and step away from the computer. How long have I been? Oh, just 2 hours? Well. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.